Number 16. Oscar and Julie Ashton are celebrating their 15th anniversary by having a reception at a local reception hall. They have budgeted $2,000 for their reception. If the reception hall charges a $50 cleanup fee plus $36 per person, find the greatest number of people that they may invite and still stay within their budget. So let's figure that out. Since it says they budgeted $2,000, it means they cannot spend more than that. So that means for our inequality, they can have a less than or equal to because they are spending less than $2,000 or $2,000, but they can't spend more. So you got to have a less than or equal to for that. Now it says a $50 fee plus 36 per person. Per person means X. So 36 times X. So 50 plus 36X. So then this will be the inequality. We subtract 50 on both sides. We get 36X is less than or equal to 1,950. Divide by 36, and we're going to get a decimal. It says round down to the nearest whole person, which in this case will give me 54. So at most, 54 people can be invited to the reception. And that is number 16. Number 17. It says solve the following compound inequality and graph the solution. The OR statement means it's going to be going in two opposite directions, and we solve them both individually. So for the first one, we divide both of these by 7. For the second, we divide both of these by 5. So that's going to leave us, for the first one, x is less than or equal to negative 5. Negative 35 divided by 7 is negative 5. And for the second, we have x is greater than or equal to 35 divided by x, which is 7. So x is greater than 7. So now first let's type in the answer, which we will choose A, and we'll say A is less than or equal to negative 5, or greater than or equal to 7. So now to graph that is going to end up being H, because we have the equal to sign. So equal to, less than or equal to negative 5, and greater than or equal to 7. So it's going to be H. The similar one to this would be A, but it's not going to be A because those are open circles, meaning there's no line under the inequality. And that's number 17. Number 18. To pass a course with a C grade, a student must have an average of 70 or greater. A student's grades on 3 tests are 68, 74, and 67. Find what score the student must get on the next test to get a C average or better. What grade must the student get? So we need to have at least a 70. That would be a greater than or equal to 70 because you want that much or more. Okay, so now what we need to do to find the average of something, you add up the numbers and divide it by the amount of numbers there are. Since we're going to have 4 tests in total, the 3 tests already given plus the 4th one, we'll add those 4 up and divide by 4. So we're looking for that 4th test. But those 4 added up divided by 4 gives you the average, which must be greater than or equal to 70. So now we add up 68, 74, and 67 and get 209. We multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of the fraction, and we get 280. Subtract both sides by 209, and we get that the score must be greater than or equal to 71. Okay, so that would be number 18. Go into number 21. It says solve the equation. So this is an absolute value equation. So we need to get the absolute value by itself first. So to do that, we divide everything by 2, which will give us 3x minus 11 in absolute value equaling to 7. Now, the two numbers that have absolute value of 7 would be 7 and negative 7. So we write this with absolute value bars as 3x minus 11 equaling negative 7, or 3x minus 11 equaling positive 7. So we solve both of those equations. We add 11 to both sides on both of them. We'll get 3x is equal to 4, or 3x is equal to 18. Divide both sides by 3. We'll get for the answer, x is equal to 4 over 3, or x is equal to 6. And that's going to be your answer. Number 24, it says solve the inequality. So this is an absolute value inequality. So first we got to get the absolute value by itself. So we subtract 4 on both sides, which will give you absolute value of 5x minus 5 is less than 15. When this is a less than, you write it as a conjunction, like this, with negative 15 is less than 5x minus 5 is less than positive 15. So when this is a less than, you write it like this. Then we solve for x. Add 5 to both sides, you'll get negative 10 is less than 5x is less than 20. Now you divide everything by 5, you'll get negative 2 is less than x is less than 4. Okay, so now we graph it. We see it's going to be a conjunction, so it's going to be an interval of a conjunction, so it's not going to be A for our graph. It's open circles because there's no lines under the inequalities, so that means it's going to have to be D. Okay, it's going to be everything between those two. Okay, that's going to be your answer. Going to 26 is another absolute value inequality. This time it's a greater than. When that happens, we're going to have an or statement, so we're going to have to rewrite this as x plus 6, change both of these. Change this to a less than, make this a negative. So x plus 6 is less than negative 3, or x plus 6 is greater than 3. Okay, so then we subtract 6 on both sides. We'll get x is less than negative 9, or x is greater than negative 3. To graph it, it will be two inequalities going in two different directions. So that would have to be B. And that's going to be your answer. Typing it in here, we'll have choose A, x is less than 9, or negative 9, or x is greater than negative 3. Okay, so you'll choose A and write those in there. And that's number 26. Going to 30, you're going to evaluate the expression for the given values of the variables. That means you're going to substitute everything in. K is negative 1, N is negative 2. I wrote this in brackets because all this has to be done first from the parentheses. So exponent negative 1 squared is positive 1, but then this negative makes it a negative 1 in front. Here we'll have 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. Negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. And then 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Negative 8 plus 10 is negative 2, or positive 2. So then negative 1 minus 2 minus 12 gives you negative 15. And that's going to be my answer for number 30.